So it looks like this is going to be a really small community meeting today. Looks like there's a theming meeting happening right now. That's probably where Andreas and Jorge are at the moment. So right now it's just me and Sylvan. So I was I just want to give a quick shout out to Svetlana Galanova, who is one of our top bug crunchers on AMO last month. Svetlana came in to AMO. She took on some really ambitious bugs, and she's just been churning them out. So thanks so much, Svetlana. We really appreciate seeing your contributions to AMO, and it's been really great having you around and diving straight into the project. So today was going to be a short meeting anyway, and now that there's two of us, it's going to be even shorter. So I was giving Sylvana a recap. This week I'm at Google I/O in Mountain View, California. Yesterday I went to the developer keynote. So they were talking about building on a couple different platforms. So they were talking about improvements to building on Android, building for the web, AI, and probably another thing that, to be honest, I kind of, at that point, I wandered off to go get some shade and water. The web stuff was kind of interesting. So they had a separate breakout session on just the web. They were talking a lot about AMP, WebAssembly, and Chrome dev tools. So the dev tools looked interesting, but it was all really focused on like how to ramp up for like businesses. So like how do you get increase engagement and retention and through like faster page loading, and some of the dev tools seem kind of interesting. So they had a dev tool product called Lightbeam that would analyze your site and would also like help you, I guess, like give you some scores about like SEO and like how fast does it load. So that looked kind of interesting. I've heard that AMP is not awesome, but they seemed really stoked. I think the guy who was the project lead at AMP was talking yesterday. And then they were talking a little bit about how they've open sourced some of their tools. So I think today there's more conversation about the Google open source projects. So I'm going to try to go to some of those talks today and see what's up there. I also stopped by the community lounge yesterday and talked a little bit to some of the community development folks. So I talked to Alfredo, who's the community manager in Italy, and it was funny because we know Daniele in common. And I was like, of course you know Daniele. That's great. So we talked a little bit about their community group, their Google developer community groups, and that network. So I signed up to get on their mailing list. So I'm curious to see what kind of events that they're running for the Google developers. Talked a little bit with them about maybe sharing some content about doing cross-browser, sharing content for developers about cross-browser development, cross-browser extension development work. So I'm not really sure if any of the Google developer groups that are currently registered are interested in that, but we do know that there's quite a number of extension developers out there, and I think I'd be interested to see if we can get some more meetups centered around that. Last week, I went to a meetup at Grammarly in San Francisco. So there's currently 5 developers working on the Grammarly extension, which is available on all the major browsers. I think they have like 10 million users on Chrome and like a couple million on Firefox. And so through trial and error, they've really kind of like figured out a good way of building for cross-browser, like for each browser, and then deploying it and like doing it quickly and like having like a pretty good rapid release model. So they had an awesome talk last week. I put a link to the slides in the document because I think that they actually had some like really useful things to say. And it was great because there was like 50 people there from the Bay Area, and that's just like, registering on Meetup and seeing what happens. So when I was talking to a lot of the attendees there, I mean, there was a pretty big mix. I think a lot of them were there for business. I don't know that I spoke to a lot of hobbyists there, but we know that mean, there's probably even more hobbyists out there than just the people who are represented in that group. But everybody was kind of asking, like, when's the next time there's going to be an extension meetup? And I was like, and then people were like, well, I don't know, Mozilla. I was like, oh, that's cool. So I think there's interest in this kind of thing, at least within populations that have a high number of developers in them. So we'll see if we can get aligned with a couple groups. I think I'm interested in working a little bit more with Grammarly to see if maybe we can do some follow-up workshops, or maybe they can continue to share their expertise, or we can get some other folks to come in and talk about, you know, their extension developer process, and maybe even get a couple marketing folks in to talk about how to successfully market your extensions, get users, and like maybe even monetize, since that seems to be a pretty hot topic. So I'll send out some more information when that comes around. But that was pretty exciting. So we'll see what happens with the Google stuff. I'm definitely curious. There wasn't, and then the Chrome extension store folks, I think, are having office hours on Thursday. So I'm going to drop by and hang out and just observe and see what's going on there. I don't know what they're going to, I think it's just like, you can stop in and talk to them about issues. So hopefully I'll just be able to meet some of our counterparts on the Chrome side, just to say hi and maybe build a relationship and see what questions folks are asking, and see if there's any other collaborative partnerships that we can do there. So yeah, meetups are super fun. Meetups are super fun. They're super exhausting, but it seems like it's been pretty cool to go out and meet people. And if there's any other, if I can find any other, or if I attend any other interesting sessions at Google I/O and they're online, I'll try to submit a link to them so folks can take a look. But yeah, the web stuff was mostly about like, what can we do to like either reduce or improve JavaScript so that web pages load faster. There wasn't a lot of talk about security, but I think there might be some more security focused talks today about how to make the web more secure in general. But they really seem to be pushing Android app development. Oh, the other thing that everybody was excited about was PWAs. So, or is that what they're called? It's like progressive web apps. Progressive web apps was the other big thing that they were really hammering in the web talk. So I think that we were doing something similar with like Firefox OS. So that was an interesting point. So they're still heavily investing in progressive web apps. Yeah. So the other thing I wanted to give a quick shout out to was the winners of the Firefox Quantum Extensions Challenge. So we had more than 100 submissions come in, which was really awesome. We had about 145 developers submit an extension to the challenge. So I thought we had really great participation this year. Really happy with the finalists, and big congratulations to the winners. So I will link to the collection of the winners and finalists, and also the blog post announcing the winners and runners up. So thanks to everybody who submitted and everybody who voted. It was this was a lot of fun for us. We had a little award show yesterday that I'll find a recording and link it there too. So we had a really good time celebrating some really great extension development work. All right. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, we're all kind of heads down right now with stuff. So I guess, Sylvan, any questions? Anything you'd like to add?
No, sounds good. You had add-on reviewer update?
Yes, thank you for reminding me. Sorry, I just had another bite of my snack. I met with Andreas and Philip today, so this has been on our radar for quite some time now, and we haven't really had a chance to make a lot of progress on it. So we had a check-in today about some of the other stuff that comes up that pulls attention away from kind of diving into the onboarding process again. So today we kind of like got a sense of what some of those other things are that have been pulling focus, and then we kind of set out our minimum viable, like our MVP, so like the basics that we need in order to reopen onboarding. So right now we are going to update the reviewer guide. That's the first priority. Philip's also as a companion piece to the reviewer guide, Philip's going to create a document that kind of explains how to apply the policy. So like, these are the cases that you should reject for. These are the cases you shouldn't reject for. These are the cases that you should approve. So hopefully that'll add a little bit more clarity and help standardize how policy gets applied across the add-on reviewer team. And then Andreas is going to look at the code and the questions that you submitted, Sylvan, and we're going to try to whip that into shape so we can get that up and going. And then we had one more, and then we also have our eyeball on the actual onboarding process itself. So Sylvan, is that something you're still interested in doing if you're available?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, awesome. So we're gonna keep an eye on like what that script looks like and if it needs to be updated. I'm guessing it's gonna be some combination of the reviewer guide and the how to apply the policy piece and like an overview of the tools. I don't think it's gonna change that much, but I think what we'll be doing is drawing on those sources to kind of like make sure that it makes sense now in the post-review like web extensions world. So we think, so this week, folks are kind of out Thursday and Friday because of some holidays in Germany. So we're going to try to make some progress on this over the next 2 weeks. So by the week of May 28th, we're now looking to have some sort of like substantial update. So we're going to try to make progress on this. We flagged this as a priority. Some of the other stuff that comes up is stuff like blocklisting add-ons, like dealing with security patches, mentoring reviewers who have questions about the review process, metrics reporting, which is something that is actually pretty complicated with AMO, and only a couple of people have the keys to the database and are able to do some of that metrics reporting. So some of it is on us to have a better sense of timing for our metrics reporting requests, but it's just one more thing that pulls time and focus. So we're going to try to make a dedicated effort. So there's a couple of people who are really interested in becoming add-on reviewers, and we are working on reopening that process. And I apologize for the wait, for sure. So we're going to get there.
Awesome.
So Sylvana, once we have a draft, I think of the assessment quiz, I think we're going to loop you in at that point. I think once we've reviewed the work that you've done on it and like have taken it to the next like format level, we'll try to get some user testing before we deploy it.
Great. And do you still have a list of people that are on standby for applying?
We do. We definitely do. So I think there's a couple of folks who are prioritized on that list. So folks who have come in and like had individual conversations about wanting to get on board and doing this stuff. So we'll start with those folks on the list, and then we'll just go down the list and see if anybody is still interested in participating with us. We'll probably also make an announcement when it's reopened. So once it's officially reopened, we'll announce at the Mozilla weekly project call, which happens on Mondays at 11 a.m. Pacific. We'll tweet it from the @MozAMO account, and we'll probably announce it on the add-ons blog, just so that people know. Yeah, that's a great question. Okay, cool. Anything else?
Seems good.
All right, sounds good. And then probably not sure how much progress is going to get made towards like the add-ons team goals for 2018 between now and the all hands. The all hands is going to be like kind of a sit down, like heads down and work week. So I think we're probably going to have some cool stuff that comes out of that. But I'm going to keep my eye on it, and we'll continue inviting team members in to present on some of the stuff that's going on as it comes up. Yeah, awesome. Okay, well, it was really good seeing you, Sylvan, and our community members out there who are watching this later. Awesome. Thank you for your contributions. And we'll talk to everybody later.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.